The newly minted Republican Speaker of the House, MAGA Mike Johnson, has been furiously scrubbing his social media presence after Rolling Stone unearthed a video of him discussing an app that he uses to monitor his and his son's porn habits. In a newly resurfaced video from 2022, Johnson admitted that he and his son monitor each other to ensure that they're not watching any sort of, you know, unsavory videos or imagery on any of their devices using a third party subscription. That's right. Apparently, in the Johnson household, there will be no
sexual anarchy
allowed. None at all. In fact, I have a video here of Johnson explaining the app and what it does.
Covenant Eyes is the software that we've been using a long time in our household. And what it is accountability software. So men in a church, men's Bible study groups will do it. That's how it's presented at Promise Keepers. But they also mention, hey, when your kids become teenagers, especially if you have boys, dads, they're talking to the guys at this event, you might want to think about doing this with your sons. And so we've been doing that. And so what it does real simply is it has an algorithm and software. It's way above my head how it works, but it scans, you obviously opt into it, but it scans all the activity on your phone or your devices, your laptop, tablet, what have you. We do all of it. And then it sends a report to your accountability partner. So my accountability partner right now is Jack, my son, right? And so he's 17. So he and I get a report of all the things that are on our phones or all of our devices once a week. If anything objectionable comes up, your accountability partner gets an immediate notice. I'm proud to tell you my son he's got a clean slate, all right?
Yeah. Okay, so the idea that he and his son have porn trackers on their phones and that they're accountability partners to each other is it strikes me as a bit odd. I've never really heard about these apps before, but I'm not exactly surprised that they exist. And I'm actually not surprised that it's pretty common on the religious right for them to do this stuff as well. In fact, according to Insider, there are several different apps known as accountability software that allow for this sort of very intrusive monitoring, and that's what it is. That includes Covenant Eyes, Accountable to You, and Ever Accountable. So, again, I mentioned widely used. According to Wired, more than 50,000 people downloaded Covenant Eyes in 2022 alone, and the company is said to boast hundreds of thousands of users, including retired NBA champion Lamar Odom. Christopher Johnson, a Washington, D.C. based conservative activist, told Insider, quote, "You create certain habits when you're not a Christian, and then all of a sudden you're running up against some strong commands from Jesus that lust is akin to adultery and that kind of stuff, so you try to figure out ways to keep folks accountable." Well, hold on, wait, Jesus didn't say anything about porn. I don't remember that. I do remember the Ten Commandments saying something that you shouldn't lust after your neighbor's wife, but I'm not quite sure how that applies here. So I think this is a way to control people, honestly. I mean, it doesn't prevent you from looking at naughty websites. It outs you to someone else who's going to come shame you, and that's the point. It's shame. In fact, one former user of the app referred to it as shameware, and that's kind of the whole point. And another way for the church to be able to control you, because that's what they do. Since the church does not have political power to, set people on fire, which is what they used to do, or to have people get stoned to death, they've had to rely on shaming people into, having them do the things that the church wants them to do, which is, again, to remain, celibate, chaste, and all that stuff until you are married. And again, that is a way of social control that they use. Again, weird. I don't think I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with viewing pornography as an adult. And I do note that maybe there's a small, group of people that might actually benefit from being held accountable like this. That's people whose pornography viewing habits do get in the way of their lives and their relationships, and that can be unhealthy, right? And if you don't just see it as, entertainment or even a marital aid in some cases, but if you are if you have an obsession with it, or if it distorts your reality of what relationships and sex actually look like, then yes, that's a big problem, and maybe this could be an aid in trying to get you back into reality. But again, that's a completely different usage than what's being done here. In this case, it's bizarre and unnecessary and weirdly authoritarian, like getting into people's, personal sex lives, and I understand that it's like that they opt into it, but are they really? Because again, if you need to opt into something like this, then there's obviously that desire there to do this behavior, and trying to hold back that behavior is basically, I think it harms you as an individual, because we have these natural compulsions to do these things. And if you're not harming your relationships or your life or people around you, it's totally fine. Like, have fun, enjoy yourself, you know, a little self-love. It's fine, really.
Insurrection is about to be.
Okay? Like, again, it just seems like it's massively, you know, trying to control people through shame and all this stuff. But again, aside from all of that, that's not the real problem here with this. No, the problem here is it's a security risk, all right? Covenant Eyes includes near constant surveillance of its users' devices. It takes a screenshot every minute. Wow. So now that software was developed by Michael Holm, a former data scientist for the National Security Agency. The software sees the screen just as you see it, Holm told the Christian Post back in a 2019 interview. Now, if you're a congressman, I can see how this could be problematic, because if you're, you know, using your phone or your device, laptop, tablet, whatever, and look, he says it's in all of his devices. If you're viewing stuff related to your job as a congressman, well, that could be a problem, because it's taking these screenshots and it's sending them who knows where. In fact, Receipt Maven, who found this video and spread it around, noted that a U.S. congressman is allowing a third-party tech company to scan all of his electronic devices daily and then uploading reports to his son about what he's watching or not watching. I mean, who else is accessing that data? And that right there is the important question. Who else is getting access to this that shouldn't? I mean, even if it's not like classified material, right? It is possibly sensitive data into the hands of a third-party company. Like, that's weird and not good, and not good when it comes to security. So that's the big issue here. And so now that that's out, and it shows that he's a security risk at his job, no wonder Johnson is instead of trying to get rid of this weird app in order to, you know, help his job and to keep things, you know, secure and safe, he's instead scrubbing this off the internet. Any mentions of this off the internet. But the great thing about the internet is it's forever.